And now for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome from the Chicago Blackhawks, Brian Bickle.
You guys ready? I'm ready. All right, drivers, start your engines.
Window nets are up, drivers strapped in, and engines running. Matt Crafton, our point leader, coming in, starts 13th. Can he hold on to the point lead here at Motorsport? And welcome back. Trucks are making their way around this almost 2.5-mile road course.
And they're going to have a lot of fun out there, Rick. Uphill, downhill, left and right. This is everything you could hope for on a Sunday afternoon.
We want to show you the particulars as our starting grid will roll across the top of the screen. Once again, James Busher and Ryan Blaney will make up row number 1. Let's look at the numbers of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
The important thing is 10 turns. I was talking to Max Pappas this morning. He said, I haven't yet got all 10 corners right on the same lap. He said, I might mess up one this lap, a different one that lap. He said, James must have got all 10 right for that pole speed.
You know, they talked about it's hard to pass, but you ask different drivers where they think passing zones are. They give you about 8 of them, so there's got to be ways to pass.
Look at the race analysis here. The pit window between 20 and 27 laps, but once again, that's backing it up from the checkered flag.
Yeah, this is a 64-lap race, and I think these guys will try to come to pit road around lap 30 with 30 to go, around lap 34, so they can stretch that gas to the end and have that track position.
You know, I was talking to some of the crew chiefs, and they said, you know, with enough caution laps, you could probably stretch this thing and make it on one stop. He said, I'm not sure anyone's going to do that, but I think you really could.
It's not outside the question for sure.
Before the green flag flies, let's check in once again with Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, 31 times in this series, we've seen a last lap pass for the win. 3 times it's happened on a road course, and today that pass may happen right here behind me. I'm right at turns 10 and 11 as they get ready to go down this front straightaway, only about 300 feet to the finish line. And I'm telling you right here, there might be a last lap pass, but if you want to get a good pass, you might do it on pit road. Right, Hermie?
Well, you're right, Ray. We've talked all pre-race show about how difficult things are going to be on the racetrack. Well, that's just the beginning. This pit road is different. The driver drives down the pit road and has to turn right to get in this pit box. You can't see really the right front corner of the truck. You cannot get too close to pit wall. You will cause your team some problems. The pit crew has to work backwards to get a good pit stop and get off pit road. And then on top of all that, when you leave pit road and head down to the exit, a downhill grade, downhill to get back on the racetrack. Watch for a potential speeding penalty today on pit road. Rick?
It's going to be tricky, Hermie. Thank you so much. We're going to ride along with a few different drivers. Take us through these cameras.
Yeah, we're going to ride along in the Sport Check on board with Alex Gannett. Alex is a 17-year-old, has extensive go-kart background, not much in stock cars, only the last year or so. So he had a great qualifying effort starting up in the 14th spot. So he is making his first ever start here in the Camping World Truck Series.
Let's hop on board the number 77 Otterbox Toyota of Armand Quiroga. Armand's training for a marathon. He's been fast on the road racing circuits of Mexico, and he'll be fast today, Phil. Watch for this truck to go to the front.
It's funny, I was talking to Brendan Gaughan earlier. He came here as a teenager and raced, and that was a long time ago, and that doesn't mean he's real old, but Brendan Gaughan is looking for a win here. It's been a long time since he got to victory lane here in the Camping World Truck Series. Has a great top 10 qualifying effort, so look for Brendan Gaughan to be good today.
This is the truck I'm looking forward to riding along with. It's the Sport Clip Chevy of Max Pappas. He's starting inside the top 10. You can see this great view of Max as he studies what he's going to do, but looky here, we're going to ride on his front bumper. Max is not afraid to use that front bumper if he needs to. We've talked about the elevation changes here in Canada. This camera will show those dramatically. I'm glad we're on board with Max Pappas.
We're going to have a great view out of this Duraline Chevy here for Miguel Paludo. He will start in the 5th spot. You saw him finish 2nd just a couple weeks ago in Poconos, looking for that first win here in the Camping World Truck Series. We're going to also have a suspension camera. You see the shock right here. Here's the spring. brake ducts back in here. So we're going to have a great view. And you see this brake rotor right there? That will turn red hot here as he drives down on some of these corners.
The 88 of Matt Crafton starting in the 13th spot. Let's hear from our point leader.
Let's see if we can talk to him. Hey, Matt Crafton, this is Phil Parsons up in the Fox Sports 1 booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Matt, you've had an incredible season here thus far. Top 10 finishes and all these races. You got by that dirt track race at Eldora. Is this another one of these races that you circled and said, hey, I've got to get by this one?
Absolutely. I mean, every race is worth racing the same. We're racing to win, racing to contend to win, put ourselves in position. These guys have great trucks each and every week. We didn't qualify quite as well as we should have, we felt. This Menards Toyota Tundra will be up front at the end of the day, hopefully. We've got to be smart.
All right, buddy, keep that top 10 streak going.
Thank you. Hopefully you don't drink. If not, I'm coming looking for you.
All right, buddy, thanks.
Ray Dunlap.
Rick, give you a quick update on that Hawk number 6. Mike Skeen in his truck is having radio issues. He is not able to communicate back to the pit road. He can hear what they're saying, but they cannot hear him. So obviously you want to have great communication to be able to talk about what you're doing with your truck and adjustments they might want to make. Right now, there is no communication back to the crew from Mike Skeen, who will roll off third.
That's difficult.
It is, especially when we talked about how much strategy will play in today's event. So needs to get that squared away.
They got a few seconds till they come back to the green. We're going to take a quick break so that we can see the green flag fly on the first road course race for the trucks in over a decade. An incredible crowd here on hand for the first race outside of the United States borders for the Camping World Truck Series. And the fans have come out in the thousands, lining the fences all around this racetrack.
And they're enthusiastic too, Rick. They love the fact these trucks are here. So many great Canadian race fans love what we do every weekend down in America, and come out to show that love.
And we see so many Canadian fans at the races in America. I talked to several people. We were touring the grounds here the other day, and a lot of people say, we always go to Michigan. We love that Bristol race. And it's amazing how rabid the Canadian fans are.
And there's a Tim Hortons on every corner. So
every single corner.
Color me happy.
Yeah.
All right, how nervous as a driver are you if you've never raced a truck on a road course right now? Getting ready to come to the green.
I think there's a whole lot of indecision as to how this race might play out. We've seen many cautions in the prelim events heading up. A lot of corners, a lot of chances to run into each other. So they'll have to really watch their P's and Q's here early in the go, and I hope they do kind of settle in, get some laps under them before they start running over each other, but eventually they will.
Then again, we proved that you can crash in the middle of a straightaway too over the years.
Ron Hornaday, the only driver in the field that has been in a truck on a road course. Rick Crawford with the most starts, 336.
Will be tied today.
Hornaday will tie that as far as all-time starts. And another name that's going to be coming up into that rank, obviously, will be Matt Crafton, who's the most consecutive starts in the Truck Series.
It's just amazing listening to Ron Hornaday as we hop in some of these trucks that we have cameras in today. Max Pappas there. Ron's confident that he can drive his truck to the front. Didn't have a good qualifying run. He said they finally got it tightened up, and he's been fast on. He's won 3 road races in trucks before. He's confident he can get it done again today.
One of the other interesting things, talking with, for example, Mike Skeen, he said this might be a situation where I'm going to wait for someone to make a mistake. I'll ride behind them until they make a mistake. It opens the door for me to make a pass.
Yeah, and I think that's the confidence that this young man shows. He knows he has a truck under him and has the ability to win the race. He doesn't have to push the issue. He doesn't think he has to push someone into a mistake. He'll just wait till they make it.
And Max said the exact same thing. He said, hey, let's let this thing play out a little bit here. We'll worry about the last 10 laps about pushing the issue.
Field now in the hands of James Busher. Won the pole yesterday. He brings the field to the green flag for the first time in Canada. The Camping World Truck Series. Green flag in the air. Busher chose the inside line to get into that right-hander. The first turn here at Canada Tire Motorsports Park.
You see there's a blind corner going here to turn number 2. These guys have to make their decision on when they brake before they even see the corner.
That always makes it interesting, huh, Phil?
Sure does.
Everybody looks as though they're going to be able to make it through that turn 2 and up through turn 3.
3 wide back there. Somebody ducked to the inside of Matt Crafton.
See Darrell Wallace Jr., who is up on the curb. That's something you're going to see all day long. There's a lot of places, like you said, you turn into the corner before you can really see it, and you'll get on those curves.
Now tricky number 5.
45 miles an hour into this corner.
Oh, and about 30 seconds later, you're on 170 at the end of this straightaway.
Andretti straightaway now. It's James Busher out in front of Ryan Blaney. They're nose to tail as they head up Andretti straightaway.
These guys can go too wide here up this long straightaway. Again, speed upward of 170 miles an hour. There's Timothy Peters right there, that red and white truck side by side with Ron Hornaday.
And you know, it's interesting to listen to some of the guys, Phil. They think drafting could be a big play on this back straightaway. We've seen trucks fan out 3-4 wide at Pocono on that straightaway. This straightaway is about as long, and so maybe we can see some drafting coming into effect.
Busher makes the pass. Here comes Chase Elliott looking to the inside of Blaney for second.
Chase got a great run off turn number 10. That opened up that inside for him. He got by Ryan Blaney in the 29 truck.
How about that kid? That's just a classic road course pass right there. What's he know about road racing? He hadn't done much of that, but what a great job Chase did. Got that run off the corner and easily cleared Blaney.
You know, Chase Elliott has a guy with him that got his first ever NASCAR win on a road course, and that's his dad, Bill, at Riverside back in the 80s.
Look how good he is off the turn, able to chop it down low, making a run on Busher there.
Once again, that elevation change, a drop down into turn 4 before they come an extreme uphill in turn 5 and a hard right turn.
I was talking to Max earlier, and he said it's amazing how quickly these kids catch on.
And what a great run Elliott had coming off of 5. This could be a great passing zone for Chase Elliott if he wants to get by Busher.
Oh, he wants to.
Drag racing up this Andretti straightaway. Is he going to peek to the inside? No, he's going to tuck back in behind Busher.
Wow, you can tell how good of a passing zone that would be. You get just a bit of a nose down the inside of someone, you can run on in there on them.
Again, the 6 of Mike Skeen making his first ever Camping World Truck Series start, runs in the 4th spot, just behind the 29 of Blaney.
See, Chase looks to the inside of Busher. Chase got another run off of turn 10, made the pass for the lead.
Chase is using the run from turn 10 to turn 1 to make his moves. He's moved to the front of the field now.
So much for not being able to pass at this racetrack, huh?
And the next guy you better watch is that 6 of Mike Skeen. You can see he's been all over the back of Ryan Blaney, making some good runs on exit to gain on Blaney. So he looks like he's going to try to grab that 3rd spot.
We'll see if Blaney uses the same strategy that we've seen Chase Elliott use to get by that 31.
Well, you can see on exit he's just a little bit lower than the truck ahead of him. That means he's got a better grip down low, and that could pay off.
Look at the drop in elevation as we ride along with Max Pappas on the bumper.
Now we're going up the hill with this 14 truck, right on the back bumper of that 32 of Miguel Paludo.
Out of turn 5, and now that long straightaway.
Listen to him wind this baby out to 170 miles an hour.
Watch that speedometer crawl upwards. Just drops it into high gear.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Out of the gas right there at the bridge, the crossover bridge. And around goes the 07 of Carl Long. We'll see if that becomes just a local caution or a full course caution. Looks as though he's got it running.
Yeah, I think that's the tail end of the field, so they know they have some time before anybody else comes along.
That's that tricky turn 5. And the field making their way around this almost 2.5 mile road course as they go through 1 and back into 2.
A lot of patience being shown by these drivers early on.
And that's what we hope for. You know, there's a lot of racing, obviously, to go. And when you get down in the last 10 or 15 laps of a road course race in NASCAR, all bets are off. You're going to take chances that you haven't taken all day, but it's nice to get settled in here early in the going.
Now we see Skeen has been able to get by the 31 of Busher. So Skeen is running in the 3rd spot now. Busher back to 4th, just in front of Ty Dillon running 5th.
Yeah, and James put in a great effort, hit every turn in qualifying and grabbed the pole. But if I'm him and his team right now, I'm concerned. He can't keep pace with the trucks ahead of him. He keeps getting past. And look, they're stacking up behind James Busher. On a road course, that's not a good thing because it's just a matter of a time before someone decides they'll move you out of the way.
See, Chase Elliott now has opened up a little bit over a second lead. Timothy Peters is around.
Timothy Peters, that's turn 5, coming out of turn number 5. Got around, getting back into the gas. We talk about how important going up that hill and getting that speed is.
Talked to Timothy this morning. He said, I just got faster and faster every single practice session. He felt pretty good about his chances for the race here.
He was running in the 16th spot. That's going to drop him back a few positions.
Dakota Armstrong looking down on the inside of Mike Wise. They race down into one of the corners. And here's our leaders.
Going back into turn 1. And downhill, again, that blind turn number 2 they're coming up on.
They get to the top of the hill there, right at the Sport Check Bridge, and they have to be committed to the break and where they're going to be on the racetrack.
Elliott out in front. Ryan Blaney runs second.
Who are your picks, Phil?
I think Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney.
Doing pretty good so far, bud.
Yeah.
Not too
Your
bad.
pick is not doing too bad either.
Now we've completed 4 laps. We mentioned earlier we're going to see green flag pit stops about lap 5 to 10. I'll be looking in that range.
On the early side, maybe lap 5, but I think more than likely to be closer to lap 10.
Okay.
Just to give these guys a little bit of insurance in case we have a green and white checker towards the end. Remember, with a 2.5-mile racetrack, you get a green and white checker, you're liable. You can add up some miles pretty quick.
Just love that sound right there.
Almost sounds like he gets airborne when he comes up over one of those little crests.
Another blind corner. You have to commit at the Canadian Tire Bridge to your braking zone.
I'm not comfortable with that. I don't want to be running 170 miles an hour into a blind turn.
Through 9 and back into 10 right here in the front stretch.
What a great view. You think these guys don't have their hands full? Ty Dillon trying to work over James Busher ahead of him. Oh, in the meantime, Miguel Pluto's trying to work him over. Action out both ends of that truck. You can see how much they move around on those curbs.
Here's this turn 2, left-hander. You see the strip of asphalt, the newest black strip of asphalt. A lot of the drivers say there's a lot more grip on that strip than there is off that strip. So you want to get on that black strip, like right here for Max Pappas.
Turn 3 for Max Pappas as he gets ready to go into turn number 4, and we'll drop downhill here into this blind turn 4.
Phil, we talked to a lot of the drivers, and they hadn't made runs of 6-8 laps in a row. So this is uncharted territory for some of these guys trying to figure out how their truck's going to handle on the long run.
It's amazing how long that turn 5 is. You think you get to the end of the corner, and then you have another right-hand 90-degree corner.
And way up. Andretti's the back stretch here.
First race held at this racetrack was 1961, and it was won by Sterling Moss. Maybe that's why we have a corner named after him, turn 5.
Turn 5, Moss corner.
I met him the other day.
Here we go. Ryan Blaney has decided that they will pit on lap number 6, right on lap.
And he's in pit stall 34. This will be just a quick splash of fuel only. You want to get that thing filled up with Sunoco. No tire change at all. And keep in mind, he's got a long way to go down. Stalled it just a little bit, but they've got fuel here early on.
There you go. That's what we talked about strategy. Obviously, he doesn't need fuel right now, but he's going to need it later. And they get it now, hoping that makes for some track position.
And a caution is out right now. That just is perfect for Ryan Blaney.
Full course caution. It's the 8 of Max Gresham. Gresham actually backed into the tires 2 days ago during practice. They had to tear pretty much the whole back end of that truck off and put it back on.
Maybe an ignition issue, or could have been an engine problem. See, Johnny Sauter had also made his way to pit road. Not sure if Johnny got on pit road before the caution came out. NASCAR officials will be monitoring that to see if he got on pit road first.
Just after turn number 5 is where the 8 of Max Gresham has stalled. And this start-finish line and pit road all the way up here. And so he's got a long way to go.
Phil talked about Johnny getting onto pit road. If he got to pit road prior to it turning red, that pit stop is legal and he'll maintain his track position. If NASCAR deems that he came onto pit road while pit road was closed, he'll have to start at the back of the field.
We've got 6 laps complete from Motorsport. Now let's go to LA and Molly McGrath with our Fox Sports Live update. NASCAR coverage on Fox Sports 1 continues on Friday with NASCAR Nationwide Series practice live from Richmond. Then next Sunday, the Camping World Truck Series rolls into Iowa. Fox Sports 1 is your home for complete NASCAR coverage.
We're getting you started today. A big day in NASCAR. Trucks from Canada The Cup cars are racing toward the chase for the championship. The boys from Atlanta will get you fired up this afternoon.
What an advantage for Ryan Blaney. If you were going to pit around lap 10, then I think you come in under this caution flag. If that wasn't your strategy, if you wanted to make this first run 15, 20 laps, then maybe you stay out. But for Ryan Blaney, who did pit, and Johnny Sauter, if he made it to pit road, it worked out perfectly because they will be able to maintain their position as we see some of the trucks come on down pit road.
Chase Elliott, our race leader, has decided that he's going to stay on the track. James Busher as well staying out. Now let's go to pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Well, Mike Skeen will come to the pit road, and that was in their regular idea. They had hoped to come in right about now. I noticed that Chase Elliott stayed out on the racetrack. His crew chief told me they weren't planning on coming till about lap 15, so they're going to get plenty of fuel in for the 6 truck, and they are doing left side tires. Hermie?
Yeah, Ray, the 3 truck of Ty Dillon on pit road, he is getting fuel only. He's been a little bit snug on the right-handers, a small chassis adjustment and fuel only for the 3. He's the first off this end of pit road, followed by the 77, the 54, Bubba Wallace, the 88, a little bit lengthier pit stop as he's putting tires on the 88.
So tires early for them.
Many differing strategies there. Some with 2 tires, some with 4. See Crafton coming out late and going. And Phil, I think if my strategy was to stop at 10 and the caution flies now, maybe I throw that strategy out the window if I didn't get to pit road, because now maybe I run to lap 20 and get me 4 fresh tires, and then when it's time to get the next pit stop, I don't get any tires and try to gain my track position
by
a
little quick gas stop.
So strategy, well, it could come into play late in this race. Green flag back in the air from Canada, and out in front, Chase Elliott, James Busher, Miguel Paludo, your top 3.
Ryan Blaney that we saw pitted under green right before the caution came out. He's already up into the top 10.
He's side by side with his teammate now, that 29. Trying to work around the 19.
Chastain.
Look at our point leader mired back in that heavy traffic. We asked Matt at the beginning, was this a wild card for him? He said he thinks so. This is some tense time for that team right now.
Great restart for Chase Elliott. He's able to put a little distance between himself and Busher. Side by side, Ross Chastain in the 19.
Martin Roy in the 84 truck, Canadian driver from Quebec.
Now here comes the 77. Herman Quiroga trying to make the pass. And into turn number 8.
Well, that 94 truck of Chase Elliott has been strong, hasn't it? He's been strong since they unloaded here. And I asked Chase, do you have any experience here at this racetrack? No, I've never seen the place before.
I bet you there was some pretty intense video game playing for Chase Elliott.
A little intense iRacing
to get warmed up for this place. He's going to have some competition from that 32 truck. Miguel Paludo is going to be a player in this race. You can see he's up to the 3rd spot, working over James Busher there.
And amazingly enough, he stayed right on his back bumper coming out of turn number 10, as opposed to try to get that pass before he got into turn 1. But now he's going to follow him around as they go through 3 and into turn 4. This is 3, the right-hander.
Listen, that's so interesting. You hear those tires spin there. How much work they have to do with that throttle, trying to get those tires hooked to the ground. Listen to him as he works this turn.
Remember, this is that long turn 5.
Johnny Sauter on the left of your screen on pit road.
See, they have the trunk open on that truck. We saw Johnny get to pit road right as the caution was coming out. But then this definitely unscheduled here. I wonder if it's a fuel issue. I wonder if they're looking at the mechanical fuel pump that's in the trunk of these cars.
Sauter 9th in the point standings coming into this race.
I think we saw Johnny have trouble with that mechanical fuel pump earlier this year. That is a cable that runs all the way to the front of the engine.
There goes Paludo, dove hard on the inside of James Busher.
So Paludo takes over 2nd. James Busher back to 3rd. Here comes Max Pappas in the 14. And into the tire barriers hard, the 18 of Joey Coulter.
Those tire barriers do such a fine job cushioning the blow, but man, do they destroy a body on these vehicles. Let's see how much damage the 18 of Joey Coulter has when we get a look at it.
Now he's coming through 9. A lot of smoke rolling out from the right side.
Let's take a look at what happens to Joey. It looked like he just got a little bit wide, got off that newer asphalt.
And that's an 8. That's where you're going your fastest.
Oh, look how far that truck goes in there.
A lot of damage to the left front. Let's go down to Ray.
And they're going to have to work on that fender for sure. They're going to put tires on this Monster Energy Toyota. Joey Coulter said the thing just got away from him. Recently, he's been on the radio saying this thing is like riding a bunking Bronco. So he has not been very pleased with the handle. They'll get the hammers out and get to working. Hermie?
Update on the 98, Ray. It is a fuel issue for Johnny Sauter. Obviously, they had just been on pit road to put fuel in this truck, so it's not a matter of fuel in the fuel cell, but the fuel is not getting to the carburetor. These guys are frantically at work trying to figure out exactly what's going on, but they are not getting fuel to the engine on the 98. We'll update you as soon as we know if they find the problem.
Look at this pack of trucks.
Mike Skeen in the 6, just behind that 77.
Bubba Wallace, the 54, jumps to the inside of that 19 of Ross Chastain.
That's the same move we saw Pluto put on Busher diving down into that 10th turn.
Wallace is going to take the spot as he goes through 1. Bubba Wallace in the 54.
See, Ty Dillon has opened up a little bit of a gap over that 39 of Alex Gannett. Alex doing a nice job. He ran that Canadian Tire race earlier today. Did not have a great finish, but had a good qualifying effort. Top 15 here for him in the Truck Series.
Next time by for fuel.
Here you pit next time by. From the 39, that's Alex Gannett.
That's 17-year-olds.
Now, I'd like to see him now, but if it takes one more, that's okay.
Another guy that circled this race, Herman Quiroga. Very, very good road racer. 3-time champion in the NASCAR Mexico Series. Although you would think they run a lot of road races, they don't over there. But his background before that is road racing.
Trying to coach that young 17-year-old on how to get to pit road and all that traffic.
Coming into turn 8. Fastest turn on the racetrack.
Wave your arm, let him know you're pitting. Wave your arm.
And then the left-hander to 9, and he moves out of line so he can get onto pit road.
Has to get slowed down by that yellow line. Speed line starts at that yellow line right there.
That's Alex Gannett making his way onto pit road under green flag conditions.
Looks like he's the only one that will come down pit road on this lap.
Yeah, you could hear his crew giving him all that coaching. Rookie kid trying to make one of his probably his first ever NASCAR pit stop. You've got a lot of information you got to understand, Hermie.
Yeah, this is Alex Gannett. He's driving the 39 truck this weekend. Been pretty solid in practicing, qualifying. A little bit tight. It was a wedge adjustment, no tires, but fuel for Alex Gannett.
This battle here.
But it's heating up.
Hey, what's that?
Here comes Mike Skeen. He took to the inside to get by the 4 of Jeb Burton.
Jeb have problems?
Jeb doesn't look like he's as quick now as the 54 about to overtake him as well through turn 5.
Skeen's been all over Armand Quiroga. Every corner, every lap, he's looked to the inside. So these two don't get this spot settled soon. Quiroga could be in jeopardy of Skeen's bumper.
Bubba Wallace was able to make that pass just a moment ago on Jeb Burton in the 4 truck.
He was dropping fast.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's got some problem or another.
Seems to be falling off the pace as Jeb Burton all the way back to the 13th position now. Bubba Wallace up to 9th. Still chasing after Skeen and Quiroga, riding along with Herman. Looking back on Darrell Wallace. It's Mike Skeen,
and he's going to look to the inside again, Rick.
So Skeen trying to get by that 77. Oh, a little bobble there by Herman, and around goes Skeen in turn 1.
Got to beat him down to turn number 2 here. Remember, Quiroga's going to be on the inside. He is able to hold that spot.
We talked to Mike Skeen earlier today, and he said, I'm just going to wait for people to make mistakes. Well, he's pushing hard on Armand Quiroga. Armand slipped a little bit, but it wasn't enough for Skeen to get by.
Yeah, Mike sees that gap out in front of that 77 truck, and if he was maintaining pace, if Herman was maintaining pace, he wouldn't be that impatient. But right now, he sees that gap. He wants to close it up on that 3 truck of Ty Dillon.
So now we'll see how well Skeen gets through turn 5 and back to the gas as they go up Andretti straightaway.
Mike started thinking a little bit about practicing what he preached. He said he wasn't going to be in a hurry early. He looks like he's in a heck of a hurry right now.
Starting to pick the pace up a bit as far as trying to get by some of these drivers. into turn number 8.
Armand did a nice job getting off turn number 5 with some speed. He's got a couple truck links now over that 6 of Mike Skeen.
We'll see if he positions himself in the right place as they go through 9 and come into 10. He looks to the inside. He's going to take the spot away as they go through turn 10. Mike Skeen takes it away from Iran Quiroga. Here comes James Busher onto pit road. Hermie.
James Busher makes his way down pit road. He has been tight off the left-handed corners, loose off the right-handed corners. They're going to come in, not talking about any tires, but take a little bit of fuel and make a chassis adjustment for the 31.
Thanks, Hermie. That leaves 2 out onto the track that have not been to pit road. The 94 of Chase Elliott and the 32 of Miguel Paludo. Jeff Burton also hasn't been to pit road. We're expecting him to be on pit road soon.
Yeah, he's been slowly falling back through the field. The fastest lap last time by was set by Chase Elliott, so his tires are still holding up well, and he's running great lap times. You can see he's driven off to a pretty comfortable lead.
He's got a clean racetrack in front of him, not having to deal with any of the other competitors. Right on lap.
Well, guys, you know, the situation changes. It's always fluid when we're talking about road racing. Lance McGrew told me they had hoped to pit around lap 15, but he said now they've put themselves in a box where they've got to pretty much run all the way through the fuel cycle. And you're seeing Max Pappas on board. Max came in on lap number 12, and he's already been to pit road, but it appears that the leader's got to stay out as long as he can. Hermie? Yeah, guys, want to update you the 98, a fuel pump issue. They replaced the fuel pump, the cable-driven fuel pump in the back of the truck and got him back on the racetrack. But obviously, Johnny Sauter has lost a lot of time on this racetrack and will not get a good finish today. It seems like little mechanical gremlins are biting the 98 truck, I bet, every other week. So these guys are very disappointed, but he is back on the racetrack.
Yeah, 3 laps down for Johnny Sauter, so sure not the outcome that he was looking for.
One thing about it, you don't lap a lot of trucks on this racetrack, so we've seen guys get a lot of the free passes and put themselves back into contention on road courses.
Out in front, it's Chase Elliott, Miguel Paludo. Those 2 running 1 and 2 have not been to pit road. Ryan Blaney, the first one that's come to pit road, he came on lap number 6. He's running in the 3rd spot. Ty Dillon is 4th. Mike Skeen is 5th. There's your race leader going through turn 5.
Oh, spinners.
Around goes the 60. So Dakota Armstrong turned around.
John West Townley also was spun around. Those 2 trucks got together.
That's in turn 5.
Probably trying to battle for position to get off that turn 5 and run down that long Andretti straightaway.
Right down here in the Moss corner.
They were racing for the 14th spot, Rick, and something didn't go right.
They didn't settle it well. Still out front, Chase Elliott. There you see back up to speed, the 7 of John West Townley, as well as Dakota Armstrong. Those 2 through turn number 8 and looking towards 9. Chase Elliott continues to dominate here, running so well as he gets through turn 5.
Chase has been able to get by Norm Benning. That will put Norm a lap down. So if the caution flag were to come out, Johnny still wouldn't get the free pass yet.
Highest non-lead lap scored truck will get the free pass, and right now that's Norm Benning. Chase Elliott out in front here in Canada. A lot of movement on the suspensions of these trucks. That's Miguel Paludo's number 32. And how much movement that right front will do.
And that does that. 10 turns, straightaways, up and down all day long. A lot of beating on the suspension parts of these trucks in the front end and back end. That's why you see so many things break.
How about the brakes there?
Yeah,
with that
speaking of
brake
brakes,
rotor glowing red hot. And this is not a difficult racetrack on brakes here. This is one of the few road courses that really isn't that challenging to brakes.
Back into turn 10 and onto the front stretch. That'll glow red when he gets into turn 1. He'll be back on the brakes.
About 117 miles an hour on that front straightaway.
Yep.
Down into turn 1.
And just a touch there as he got into turn number 1, just on the brakes a bit. Now the blind turn where he goes almost airborne here as he comes down turn number 2.
How fun is this racetrack? It's so cool for these trucks. Like you said, Phil, there's not a whole lot of heavy braking zone, a lot of momentum these guys use to get around the racetrack. Where there is a sharp turn is coming up. As Miguel heads up to turn 5, you got to slam on your brakes, but then you're going uphill. That helps your truck stop.
Here's turn 4. And then, as you mentioned, hard on the brakes right here. Look at that rotor glow. Getting into turn number 5.
Just takes forever, it seems like, to get back to the throttle. You know those guys are itching to jam that throttle down, but we've seen problems there with people trying to get the throttle down too early.
Speaking of problems, the 4 of Jeb Burton off the track. What's going on there, Hermie?
Well, Rick, you know, he came into this race 3rd in points. It is a transmission change for the 4 truck of Jeb Burton. You see his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., and crew underneath the truck. They're going to replace the transmission and get him back on the racetrack, but a big points hit for Jeb Burton, but it's a transmission issue for the 4.
Yeah, Jeb Burton was 53 points out of the lead. Matt Crafton had a 53-point advantage on Jeb. Chase Elliott continues to lead the field here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Going into turn 1, down to 2.
You know, guys, when you talk to some of the road racers, talk to Max or Mike Skeen or Ron Fellows, he said the advantage that a road racer feels like he has is on braking. And I know, Michael, after racing against Ron Fellows like you and I have done, and people more said, people like that, the good road racers, that is where it seems like they were always just a tick better, is getting down in the corner with those hard braking zones. We really don't have that here other than getting down in turn number 5. So that's why they feel like an oval track, primarily an oval track racer, wouldn't be at such a disadvantage on this road course.
And we saw that in qualifying, James Busher getting the pole, and now we're seeing in the race with Chase Elliott absolutely dominating so far early in the going.
Chase Elliott now has almost a 5-second lead over second place Miguel Paludo. Then it's Ryan Blaney. How about Ty Dillon? A little bit of a difficult maneuver there through turn 5.
Got a little wide, but we seem to pull it back together.
Ryan Blaney restarted in the 12th spot, has made his way up to the 3rd spot. And remember, he pitted back on lap number 6, so he's got a little bit extra fuel. We know that Chase Elliott and Miguel Paludo have not been to pit road yet.
Lap 22 of 64. As you mentioned, Elliott and Paludo not on pit road. We've talked a little bit and discussed the pit window being anywhere from 22 to 27 laps. We're getting close to that range now for these drivers like Chase Elliott and Miguel Paludo.
And we talked so much before this race, Rick, about the importance of strategy. We saw Ryan Blaney pull off the pit stop prior to the caution coming out and making a good situation out of the caution. But now we got a truck on pit road and Miguel Paludo.
Hermie.
Yeah, he's obviously on a little bit different strategy than some of the other drivers that have already pitted. Lap 22, first stop for Miguel Paludo. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, a little bit of an air pressure adjustment. He's a little bit tight on the right-hand corner. 32 down and away.
That's my point. So they had to adjust their strategy. They didn't make that early stop, so they got 4 tires now. Phil, I bet he doesn't run much longer before he comes in and gets that final tug of gas that he needs to make it to the finish. Strategy is going to be all over the place because of that early caution.
So Chase Elliott hasn't been to pit road, as well as Martin Waugh. He also has not been to pit road. He's running in the 15th position. Chase Elliott out in front of the field here in Canada. Race leader Chase Elliott decided it was time to come to pit road. So he has made his stop and 4 fresh tires and fuel in that truck.
Right now he has fallen into about the 9th position for Chase Elliott.
And I will now say advantage Ryan Blaney. He made that early pit stop, got the gas he needs to get to his last pit stop. He's ahead of Chase Elliott. That means that when he makes his last pit stop, if the caution doesn't bite him, he'll be ahead of him still.
Well, right now they both have to make another pit stop. Ryan Blaney can stretch his until he can get into his pit window. We know Chase Elliott is not going to be able to stretch his enough to get in his pit window. So we know they both, or he didn't chase it enough, as we see Ryan Blaney and Ty Dillon now in a battle for the lead.
That's for the lead. Ty Dillon was looking to the inside of that 29 of Ryan Blaney. Blaney trying to hold him off through turn number 2 and back up the hill to 3.
Remember, just fuel only for both of these trucks on their pit stop.
We watched Chase Elliott during the break there get 4 tires. More than likely, he'll just get fuel on his next stop.
But we'll have to come to pit road one more time, as will these 2 trucks, Ryan Blaney and Ty Dillon.
If this race goes green the rest of the way, advantage the 29 of Ryan Blaney. Remember, Ty Dillon also came to pit road. And Chase Elliott right now is being shown 26 seconds behind our leader, Ryan Blaney, and both of those guys have to pit again.
Ty Dillon came to pit road on lap 8. Ryan Blaney came, actually he was one of the drivers that came under green before the caution came out. He came on lap 6. Now Ty Dillon looking to the inside, trying to take the position away from Blaney.
He does it. Nice move. Hadn't seen him pass there all day.
And so now Ty Dillon is taking the spot away. Blaney decides to come to pit road.
Yeah, this is early. There's no way. I think maybe his tires, we talked about it, that they didn't run that long on these tires. And Ray, maybe the tires have gone off on that 29.
Yeah, he said it was starting to feel a little mushy too, and he said he didn't like it in the right-handers so much, so they decided to go with tires here, putting fuel on it. They'll do 4 for this Cooper Standard Ford, and it changes strategy for sure, guys. They're now at lap 27, but still have to come to pit road one more time, right?
That's correct.
Certainly, and the interesting thing is we saw Dillon's truck much stronger on his older tires, so Ty's truck's handling better. He's going to be able to take advantage of his strategy and run this thing out.
Matt Crafton in the 88 back on pit road.
See Ryan Blaney right behind him. Ryan's already done with his pit work and his 4 tires.
Crafton scored in the 8th position when he crossed the stripe. Hermie.
Yeah, Matt's been relatively quiet on the radio. They're just coming in for Sunoco fuel only, no tires and no adjustments. A lot of differing pit strategies on pit road. 88 down and away.
I'm glad you said that, Hermie, because I would have put tires on that 88 truck right there and then just got gas on my next stop. But we see Ty Dillon running strong on his older tires, but Ryan Blaney had to come to pit road and get tires for himself. So we thought it would be a strategy event, and certainly right now it is.
Betting on pit road, and the 98 once again slow on the track. That is on Andretti straight away. He's not going to be able to keep it going. That might bring out another full course caution.
He is dead in the water is what he is right there. That definitely will bring out a full course caution. Again, give the advantage to all the guys that have been to pit road here in the last few laps.
Caution's not out yet.
And he's rolling again.
He got it refired
He's
somehow.
under power. So it doesn't go to a full course caution. We stay green.
Boy, the NASCAR officials did an outstanding job as we watched the South Point Chevy of Brendan Gaughan come to pit road by holding off that caution flag to give him a chance to get it going. It looks like they did.
Brendan Gaughan on pit road. Ray.
Brendan Gaughan will come in that South Point Chevrolet. They're going to put tires on this thing. He said he likes his entry. Even in the left-handers, it's not too bad. But he said he's just about a 2 free. So they're going to make an air pressure adjustment on the right side. 4 tires for Brendan Gaughan at lap, what are we, 24?
27 complete.
27.
Lap 28 now. So Brendan Gaughan coming off of pit road. All of these trucks that are on pit road are going to have to make another stop.
Yeah, we're still with 37 laps to go. We're a little bit outside of our window, I think. The guys may be able to stretch it to 30, maybe even 31 or 2 with a few caution laps. But I'm like you, I think everyone has to come to pit road again.
98 back under power.
Running along with the 99.
Chasing after Brian Silas in the 99. They're right behind. Like, was it the 19? Ross Chastain that was just going by in front of them. As they go through 5. What an incredible shot that is of the elevation change. They go so dramatically uphill. 29 of Ryan Blaney just in front of them.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney right now finds himself 42 seconds behind our leader. Chase Elliott, who had the lead when he made his pit stop, is a full 20 seconds ahead of Ryan Blaney.
And Phil, last time by, Chase Elliott was the fastest truck on the racetrack. He was almost a second faster than the second fastest truck. So those 4 tires on that really fast truck this kid's driving. Check out this battle. 55-year-old Ron Hornaday, 3-time winner on the road course, versus 17-year-old
Alex Gannett in that 39 truck.
Alex Gannett is making his first Truck Series start. He's all over Ron Hornaday for that spot. That's got to be a thrill for that young man. He wasn't around when Ron started all this.
Off the track was the 57 of Norm Benning. We just saw him on pit road moments ago.
But I'm sure he's heard about Ron. And he said, I'm going to pass him.
I'm going to try to pass him anyway.
Norm Benning had such a good time at Eldora in the dirt. He decided to make a little bit of a move there here.
In the dirt.
In the dirt.
Ryan Blaney right there in the 29 truck. Right now he's being shown in the 11th spot, Ray.
And when he came in, Phil, on lap 27, it was because he felt a big vibration. They thought maybe they had a tire problem. Changed those 4 tires on that Cooper Standard 4, but he said it is not any better. Shaking the steering wheel right out of his hands. They're worried that maybe it's a brake rotor issue. And his crew chief, Doug Randolph, has said they're not quite sure what the problem is, but they may have to pit again. He's hoping they can ride it out, but a bad vibration for 29.
Ryan Blaney coming in 7th in the point standing, 77 points out. Now working his way around the track in the 11th spot, 42 seconds behind race leader Ty Dillon. There's his teammate Ross Chastain in the 19, getting passed by the 94 of Chase Elliott.
Chastain's used strategy to get up inside that top 5. Struggled in qualifying, but early strategy and solid running has got him running in the 5th spot.
Ty Dillon, Mike Skeen, 1 and 2. Herman Quiroga, Chase Elliott, and Ross Chastain. They're your top 5 from Motorsport. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, join Jay Onrait and Dan O'Toole as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Catch Fox Sports Live tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fox Sports 1.
Oh, goodness, Rick. Oh, goodness.
Imagine that, a full course caution.
Yeah, right here, right just about at the time when these guys could stretch it, as we see Jennifer Jo Cobb's truck is stalled here. I believe that's the exit of turn 1. No, she made it on around between 2 and 3.
Yep.
I saw her slow on the front straightaway, and I think that's as far as her truck was able to get.
We've talked so much about strategy, but this is the reason why. Now these guys are within 33 laps of the finish. A couple of caution flag laps gets them down to around 30.
I think we all have to stop now and try to stretch the fuel. Try to tell their drivers, save fuel every second. Save fuel every second you can, and stretch this thing out, make it last.
Engineers, crew chiefs.
Everybody's just
Smoke coming out of the ears right now.
Crunching numbers, trying to figure out how much gas they need, how much they'll have to save to make it. But another thing that I think throws a curve into the strategy is the speed that Chase Elliott was running on those 4 new tires.
Yep.
He definitely doesn't need tires because he was way faster than everybody. But I think that forces maybe Ty Dillon, Mike Skeen, Herman Quiroga, our top 3, to get 4 tires to be able to keep pace with Chase Elliott, which means advantage Elliott because he just gets a splash of gas and he goes back to the lead.
I think maybe Chase Elliott puts 2 tires on while these other guys have to put 4 tires on, because he's going to come in 4th spot. I think I would put tires. I put left side tires on if I'm Lance McGrew.
He's just so fast, and those tires are fairly fresh. I don't know.
He's got about 8 laps on those tires.
And he's going to get a splash of fuel at least. So
well, they're going to pack it full of fuel.
Right. You're going to pack it full, but he was just on pit road not as long ago.
Yeah,
as
they could probably do left side tires with the amount of fuel it's going to take, and these guys are going to have to get them full. There's no question about it to have any shot at getting to the end.
From here, which is 32 laps to go. It'll be 31 when they come back to pit road.
And it looks like Ty Dillon's team's getting ready to come in, but these guys have more information now, Phil, than they did at the start of the race. They're able to check their gas mileage on the long run that they had when they made their first pit stop, so they'll know exactly how close they're going to have to cut it in order to make it to the end.
Seeing tires in the hands of some of the crewmen as they climbed up on the wall waiting for their drivers to come to pit road.
I think Ty Dillon right now, Mike Skeen or Herman Quiroga, both of those, or all 3 of those trucks pitted on lap number 8. I think you go with 4 tires. Chase Elliott, I'm telling you, I'm thinking left side tires, if not 4 tires, Michael.
Yeah, that's true too, because he's got such pace, such speed, that if he does pit from that 4th spot and retains it, he could pass the leaders. He's that fast.
Looked like Ty Dillon was drafting off of Randy Kaiser, our pace truck driver.
I think he was just enjoying the little break here in Canada, riding through the countryside, messing with the pace truck driver.
Well, we've got Ty Dillon out in front. Very, very limited road course experience. You've got Mike Skeen right behind him, making his first ever Truck Series start, but a lot of road course experience, especially here at this track.
Yeah, we heard Marcus Richmond say pit for 4 tires and fuel.
Pit road is open. Pit road is open.
What about the mix at the front? Ty Dillon, North Carolina, Mike Skeen, he's a Virginia guy, no truck starts. Mexico City's Herman Quiroga, Georgia's Chase Elliott.
Ross Chastain.
Watermelon Boy.
Yeah.
Florida.
So you've got a very wide variety of hometowns.
Como, Italy, running in 6th position.
That's right, Max Pappas.
How about Chad Hockenbrough? We haven't talked about Chad driving for Kyle Busch right now, but he's running in the 9th spot, having a great run. Here they come.
They're making their way onto pit road. Again, Ty Dillon leading the race. The 6 of Mike Skeen running 2nd. Ray Dunlap.
Mike Skeen lost a lot of time there, guys. He should have been right up on the bumper of that 3, and they told him, keep your truck a little further away from the wall. These pit stalls are only about 12 feet wide. They're going to go with 4 tires and fuel on this Hawk Brake Chevrolet. He said the truck is very, very neutral, pretty happy. How about the 3, Hermie?
Well, Ray, they had the computer burning up in the 3 pit. They wanted to wait until lap 36 to come to pit road for tires and fuel, but they take advantage of this caution. No adjustments to the truck. They like that. As you can see, getting it packed full of fuel. They will be very, very close making it to the end.
Ooh, he beats Chase Elliott off pit road. There you see the first truck off is Ty Dillon.
And it doesn't look like a good stop for Mike Skeen. He comes off in 4th, losing 2 spots.
Yeah, 2 tires for the 94. Lance McGrew listened to us and said, let's put this, we have to top it off with fuel anyway. Might as well put left side tires on it.
Timothy Peters made up 8 spots on pit road. Not running.
He stayed out. I really not 100% sure about this strategy, why you'd stay out and save fuel, but
Herman Quiroga. Yeah, he's making a big gamble.
Got a pit.
So question marks going up for the 77 team of Herman Quiroga. Pitted on lap 8, needs to come to pit road. He will have to come soon, and didn't take advantage of the opportunity when everyone came to pit road.
We have other guys in that same situation. Max Pappas stayed on the racetrack right now. He pitted on lap number 12. He's in the 2nd spot as we see Herman Quiroga turn his truck off to save some fuel. Miguel Paludo, we know he can't make it the rest of the way. Right now, he pitted on lap number 22. He runs 3rd, and James Busher, Darrell Wallace Jr. pitted on lap 15 and 16, respectively, and they've stayed on the racetrack.
Yeah, and I think Quiroga's team just says, we can't make it from here. We just can't stretch our gas.
Simply can't do it. Even if he saves fuel and we get a couple caution laps. So that's certainly a possibility. That's his crew chief right there, Dan Stillman.
We talked earlier about...
You know the feeling, if you think it's running out there, wherever it runs out, just come in the next time.
If you can't make it, you can't make it, Phil. But I think we talked earlier about the fact that you got to take chances on the caution coming out. You might have to stop a few laps earlier than you can make it.
Make sure your tires are cleaned off. Make sure your box is full here. Give us a couple laps.
And then stretch it. Stretch it at the end. But Dan evidently just says we don't have it. There's no way we can make it, so we got to stay out. And if people start running out, Dan's going to look like he's pretty smart.
The top 6 all stayed off of pit road this most recent time under this caution. Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, I just talked to Dan Stillman. You see him on the screen talking to Herman Quiroga. He told me no way could they make it on fuel with their fuel mileage. They were trying to stretch a couple extra laps, maybe get a couple laps under this green flag, then come to pit road and be clean for a finish and perhaps a green-white checker. They don't think a lot of these other teams that pitted have the fuel to make it. So we'll see if the 77 strategy plays out. Ray.
Hermie, I was checking in on the 94's pit stop. They actually did 4 tires and gas down here for the Aaron's Dream machine. So Chase Elliott has 4 tires, but everybody on my end is said on the radio, this might get us to the end, but it certainly won't cover a green-white checkered. So a lot of guys worried about how this race may end this afternoon.
From 7th back, they'll have to save fuel. We've already talked about the pit window being 22 to 27 on the outside. We still have 30 laps of racing to go. When they get to the stripe, it'll be 29.
They've been saving fuel since they left pit road on this pit stop.
And what about this mixed up running order we got? You talked about some differing strategies and folks on and off at pit road.
At a turn number 10.
Ron Hornaday slipped up to the 6th spot.
Green flag back in the air. Herman Quiroga out in front. Max Pappas and Miguel Paludo running 2nd and 3rd.
A little bit of contact between Paludo in the 32 and Max in the 14.
Paludo gets 2nd. Pappas drops back to 3rd. Darrell Wallace Jr. in 4th.
Paludo's been aggressive this whole race, Phil. He's really made some strong moves against other trucks. You can see him looking on the outside there. And now to the inside. Oh, he's locking him up.
Had to lock him up as he got into turn 3.
Remember now, Herman Quiroga has the same tires on. He pitted last on lap number 8, so a lot of laps on his tires.
Field somewhere going through turn 5, and we've got 2 wide. On the
Chase
inside,
Elliott.
Chase Elliott trying to stay on the inside of Mike Skeen.
That could be the pass for the win right there, boys. Those
contact.
trucks are fast.
So that rear of Chase Elliott's truck get into the front fender of that Mike Skeen truck, the 6th truck.
Is there some damage to that left front fender, Phil?
sure. We'd see if we see any telltale sign of smoke from a tire rub.
Working through turn 8 now. Still out front, around Quiroga, Miguel Paludo, Max Pappas. There's Chase Elliott running in the 7th position.
I think right now for Dan Stillman around Quiroga, you might as well run a few more laps. Definitely get comfortably in your cushion. And as Ray said, in order, if we get, we couldn't get 2 or 3 green white checkers potentially.
What he doesn't want to do, though, is run out on the track.
That's certainly. He's run 28 laps since he last pitted. We saw him saving fuel as we watched Max Pappas chase Miguel Paludo. Max right now being shown in the 3rd spot. Miguel in the 2nd spot. But Matt Quiroga does not want to run out of fuel on this racetrack.
Riding along on Max's bumper makes me want to go out there and try that. I mean, that just looks like fun, doesn't it? These guys are having.
Ty Dillon jumps to the inside of the 54. Bubba Wallace is able to take over the 4th spot.
Going to turn 4 and now 5. Lost turn.
Talked to Jerry Baxter and Darrell Wallace Jr. down in the pit about their run today. They said they thought they had a 6th to 10th place truck and were gaining one at every lap they make it on the racetrack. Obviously, Wallace is strong right now, riding up there in the 5th spot.
Herman Quiroga out in front of the field, Hermie.
Yeah, guys, Rick, he's coming to pit road this time. They had hoped to get one more lap out of this run, but Iman said the truck sputtered a little bit going up the hill at turn 5, so they are coming to pit road this time by 4 tires and fuel and hope this strategy makes it to the end of the race.
So your race leader, Herman Quiroga, on pit road now. That hands it over to Miguel Paludo. He will be in front of the field as they go into turn 1.
Max Pappas now up to the 2nd spot. Ty Dillon 3rd.
Look at Chase Elliott making his way on the inside of Darrell Wallace Jr. trying to make that pass. Wow, Wallace does a nice job on the outside through turn 1. You don't see that very often.
Darrell Wallace Jr. in front of the 94 of Chase Elliott. Working through turn 2. Elliott all the way past the rumble strips into that little runoff area.
As we watch the pit stop for Herman Quiroga, left side of your screen there. See him packing it full of fuel. Want to make sure they get every ounce. You see the gas man shaking his head. That means it's full. Ty Dillon jumps around the 14 of Max Pappas to take over the 2nd spot.
And look who's gotten to the back bumper of Chase Elliott. That's Mike Skeen. They had a little contact when they raced side by side earlier.
Back up that long straightaway.
I was talking to Marcus Richmond Friday when they opened practice, and I said, how's Ty doing? He said he really gained on it. I said, well, what were you to gain on it? He said, I think having a conversation with Max Pappas probably helped Ty more than anything. Max is such an accomplished road racer, and he really works with the Dillon boys, Austin and Ty Dillon. And Marcus Richmond said it really helped Ty.
Pappas into 14, giving chase. He's running in the 3rd spot. Ty Dillon just in front of him. Darrell Wallace Jr. being chased by the 94 of Chase Elliott.
We saw how good Chase was off for turn 10. We made a couple passes early in the race to go up there and get the lead. Has not been able to do anything with Bubba Wallace yet.
And you can see that Mike Skeen is sitting there watching every move that Elliott's making on Wallace, and Wallace is keeping pace with Max Pappas. This is a good battle up at the front of the field.
See Chase way out wide, not able to gain anything on that 54 Bubba Wallace. You know, Bubba only has 1 race on a road course, and that was a K&N race at Lime Rock, Connecticut a couple years ago. He did run a legend car at Charlotte Motor Speedway over the winter on the road course at the Speedway.
There goes Skeen looking to the inside.
Outside,
and now back behind the 94 of Chase Elliott.
Well, it switches around. You can be inside one corner, you're outside the next corner.
You know, Chase had been able to make move after move. As soon as he catch another truck and pass, he hasn't been able to do that. And in fact, Skeen's starting to make some move on Chase, so he just doesn't look quite as strong as he did earlier.
We're hearing that the 14 of Max Pappas will come to pit road this lap. Max was last on pit road on lap number 12.
So Pappas, we knew, needed to come to pit road, as does the 54 of Darrell Wallace Jr. But there goes Max Pappas peeling off, and he makes his way to pit road.
Chase gets a good run off of 10. Watch this now. Let's see him beat him down to turn number 1.
He's going to stay behind him as they cross the stripe.
Tucked back in line. Didn't quite have the run he thought he needed, Ray.
They got a brand new race truck for Max Pappas sitting here, the Sports Clip Chevrolet. He said he really likes it. They're going to put tires on this thing and fuel. They're going to be good to go to cover themselves on this green-white checkered. And just moments ago, his teammate Ron Hornaday was also on pit road to get tires and fuel. Looks like a change as Chase Elliott's going to make a move.
And he's going to bring Mike Skeen right along with them. Both of those trucks race around Darrell Wallace Jr. and move up. They got their sights set on Ty Dillon, who's set to go to the finish.
Still having to come to pit road will be Miguel Paludo, Darrell Wallace Jr., and James Buescher running in the top 6. Tonight at 5:30, it's NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, as they set you up for the Atlanta Motor Speedway race. We get close to the chase. Who will put themselves in position to be racing for the title at the end of the year? It's Race Day, fueled by Sunoco.
We are racing to the chase, and there's a lot of action to be had before we settle who it's going to be. And there's a lot of action and things happening here in Canada, Hermie. Our leader is Miguel Paludo. What's his strategy?
Well, Michael, everybody up and down my end of pit road has a different idea of what it's going to take to win. Now, Miguel Paludo, I just talked to his crew chief. That's Jeff Hensley. They pitted on lap 22 for 4 tires and fuel. They're going to stretch it now to lap 50. Come back in and get 4 tires and fuel again on lap 50. 14 laps to go. They think that gives them the best chance of fuel and tires to pull it off at the end. We'll see if it works.
Well, we knew it would be all over the map, Hermie, when we started this baby. People thinking they're going to stretch their gas, whether tires would be important or not. I think a lot of people learned with the speed of Chase Elliott in the middle of this race after getting 4 tires how important those tires are. So they're going to plan to grab some late.
While we were away in commercial break, Chase Elliott came to pit road, topped off with fuel, along with Chad Hockenbraugh, Matt Crafton, James Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Timothy Peters. They all came down pit road here in the last 2 laps.
So the plot thickens, Phil.
Yes, it does.
And that man in the 3 truck's fast. Will he try to stretch his gas? We've already heard reports that Mike Skeen, running in the 3rd spot in the 6 truck, you see him just coming into the view there. He is going to try to stretch his gas all the way to the finish. It'll be interesting to see if Dillon does as well. Bill, without any cautions at all, can these guys go that far on gas?
I tell you, that's a long way to go here. You have to get a little bit over 4 miles to the gallon, and most of the guys were saying they got about 4.0 during practice in the limited amount of measurements they got on their fuel mileage. So
that's 31 laps that they would have to go. We mentioned earlier 27 was kind of the high end of what we thought people could go on a tank of fuel, and so now we're hearing that some may try to stretch it. Ty Dillon will need caution laps if he's going to make it.
Well, that battle for the lead.
We think he's going to need caution laps. We don't know. Marcus Richmond is doing the numbers down there, and his guys, they know how far they can go on fuel, at least how far they think they can go on fuel.
And I bet you're not going to tell us either.
They probably won't tell us.
Only 21 laps remain, and this is the battle for the lead. Miguel Paludo just in front of Ty Dillon.
This race has been just as fun as we thought it would be. A great battle for the lead here. Differing strategies for these teams trying to figure out how to get to victory lane. Guys that are racing for a championship like Ty Dillon versus Mike Skeen, who just wants to win a NASCAR race in his first try.
Miguel Paludo, we know, has to come to pit road. He came onto pit road at lap 22. There's no way he can stretch it all the way.
Now, right now with 21 laps to go, anytime he pits now, he's going to be in great shape to the end of the race. We know he's going to have enough cushion for multiple green-white checkers if necessary.
And I'd get me 4 tires, too. He's going to lose all his track position anyway. Let's get those 4 tires, hope for a caution, grab back some of that track position, and go for a win at the end.
And that's the only thing that scares me a little bit about staying out till lap 50. Right now, if he was to pit and the caution was to come out, he would gain back all that track position. If he waits till 50, caution comes out before then, it'd be a little bit of a disadvantage.
That is 6 more laps if he wants to wait that long. Miguel Paludo in front of the field. Welcome back. We're under a full course caution once again. This time, one truck wasn't able to continue running. That's Alex Gannett in the 39 truck. He stopped just under the bridge right as you're entering the turn 2 left-hander. That's a blind one.
Looked like some smoke out of his exhaust pipes. Probably an engine problem for that number 39 Sport Check truck.
Yeah, tough break for Alex. He's doing a nice, credible job running up on the lead lap here, and anything could happen. Could have easily gotten maybe a top 10, top 15 finish.
I think this is a sponsor plug. Isn't that the name of the bridge that he parked underneath?
Well, yeah.
Isn't it the Sport Check Bridge too there? So anyway.
He had to run 2 laps with the truck smoking to get to the bridge.
Missed it the first time.
Yeah.
Well,
Under caution, now Miguel Paludo. Out in front, pitted on lap 22, has to pit.
He's coming.
Okay,
without
he's
a doubt.
coming for sure. But after that, Rick, it's a crapshoot as to what to do. These guys know right now they're saving fuel. They're coasting, shutting their engines off. But is it enough to make it to the end? We've heard Mike Skeen is going to stay out. What will Ty Dillon do? A guy racing for a championship. Does he take a chance and stay out to see if he can stretch it?
They may need one more caution. They've got one now. They'll have to go at least another lap before the green flag will come out under caution.
One thing's for sure, they're not making fuel right now. They're just saving a little bit.
And they're definitely, with 19 laps to go, to be 18 when they get back around. If they don't hit pit road when it opens, they're not coming to pit road. They don't need to. We know Miguel Paludo, the 32, is coming to pit road. You see, the 3 is committed. He stays on the racetrack.
Brendan Gaughan comes
So
to
does
pit
the
road
6.
as well.
The 62 of Brendan Gaughan is going to give up the 4th spot. He'll make his way to pit road.
So that's our players. 2 of our players, the 32 of Miguel Paludo and Brendan Gaughan, come to pit road, Ray.
Brendan Gaughan's philosophy was, why not come in, because they're going to be an 8th or 10th place truck. You see Miguel Paludo in, getting his tires changed on that Duraline Chevrolet. So both of these guys, Miguel was committed to it because of his strategy, but Brendan said, why not get some tires, and maybe we can make a little run through the field. We're not good enough to win. Hermie?
Yeah, Jeff Hensley, the crew chief of Miguel Paludo in the 32, did not want to see that caution. Michael Waldrop in the booth, and the guys discussed, you stay on the racetrack till lap 50, you run the risk of a caution coming out. So this will hurt the track position of the 32. The 3, however, his crew chief Marcus Richmond says, we're right on the money. We're going to stay on the racetrack and try to get a victory.
I like it.
Right on the money to lap 64.
Yeah, if we don't have a green-white checker.
We don't have a green-white checker. So
I
they're
like
going to be
it.
saving fuel. Ty Dillon, your race leader, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Crowd goes wild. It's the new weekday talk show with Regis Philbin and a cast of former athletes and journalists where you can always expect the unexpected. Catch Crowd Goes Wild every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern right here on Fox Sports 1.
And the crowd goes wild. And the crowd's been amazing here in Canada, and they've seen quite a battle. Ty Dillon holding the lead right now, close on gas. A couple guys that are going to be just going for it now, Phil. We know Miguel Paludo has plenty of gas to get to the end. Chase Elliott made an extra pit stop. He's got plenty of fuel to get to the end, but it's really close for our leaders.
You know, I was talking to Marcus Richmond, crew chief for Ty Dillon in the garage area yesterday, and we had to talk about fuel mileage. And I said, Marcus, the old rule of thumb is 2 laps, caution laps will gain you a lap of green flag racing. And Marcus said, you know, when you're trying to save fuel and shutting the engine off, he said, it could be more like 3 laps here on this road course. So that's going to be interesting.
Hermie.
Marcus Richmond, the crew chief on the number 3 of Ty Dillon. You did not come to pit road. Last time you pitted, you said, we're right on the money. Is that still the number?
Yeah, we was right on the money right there before that caution came out, and I think we're going to be pretty good to the end here. This caution is really helping us out a lot. I'm just really proud of Ty Dillon. He's doing an awesome job today, and this whole RCR team and Bass Pro Shops, it's really good.
Marcus Richmond's got his driver out front right now, Ray.
Great track position right now, Hermie, for the number 29 of Ryan Blaney, but they have been fighting that truck. I talked earlier about a bad vibration. They found out that they had a collapsed A-frame on the left front, so Doug Randolph said nothing you can do about that. He just got to try to work through it, but still a vibration for that Cooper Standard Ford, but they've got great track position, currently running 4th.
2x2 once again. It's Ty Dillon and Mike Skeen that will make up row number 1. Mike Skeen making his first ever start in the Camping World Truck Series, and he's running up front.
Blaney with a bad A-frame and still running up there in the top 5. That's part of the suspension that holds the wheel in place, and that thing's bound up or bouncing around. That causes him a handful.
Most of the trucks right behind him have pitted after Ryan Blaney.
There's my new guy, Phil. We talked about Mike Skeen before the race started, how he's going to be a player today. If you didn't know who Mike Skeen was before today, you would know him afterwards. He's been right there at the front all day long.
Pace truck makes its way off of the track. That means the field back in the hands of Ty Dillon and Mike Skeen in row number 1 as they make their way through turn number 10. Looking down the front stretch. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
Keep an eye on Ross Chastain, see if he tries to jump inside. He does. He jumps inside of Mike Skeen.
Mike Skeen trying to hold that position as they go through turn number 1. And Chastain gets sideways as they come out of 1 and into 2.
That was a big break for Mike Skeen. He's able to get back ahead of Chastain and brings Chase Elliott along with him. Chase Elliott's been extremely fast in that 94 truck. He's going to look to the inside of Skeen.
Trying to get by him in 3. As they go through 3, that right-hander, they'll set up for turn number 4. Skeen still has second. Chase Elliott running third. Ty Dillon out front.
Right now, Chase Elliott racing the guy with probably the most road racing experience in this field here, other than Max Pappas.
Chase Elliott very strong early. Elliott led 21 laps at the beginning of this one. Now looking to the inside of Skeen for second.
Wasn't able to do it at the exit turn number 5. Now they drag race up the Andretti straightaway.
Ty Dillon out in front, and a clean track in front of him.
What about my road racer, Mike Skeen? But he's got Ty Dillon, very limited experience on these road courses, and Chase Elliott trying to grab that second spot away from him. That tells you how talented this garage area is.
Mike Skeen holding off Chase Elliott through turn 9.
We saw how good Chase Elliott was off the exit of turn number 10. That's right here early on. Let's see if he can get a run at Mike Skeen.
Will they go to the inside? Skeen has him. He looks, peeks to the inside, doesn't have the advantage. He'll stay behind him.
Skeen needs a lap or two, it looks like, Phil, to get his truck running, because Ty Dillon has driven away from these two battling for second. Looks like Skeen's truck comes to him after a few laps, but man, he doesn't have long now. These guys turn up the intensity when the laps start winding down.
The 3 truck of Ty Dillon's been so good. You don't want to give him too much of a cushion and let him coast out there.
Oh, look at Skeen sideways. Woo.
And that was even on the grip strip. And he got sideways. Now Chase Elliott trying to take advantage of that little slip up by Mike Skeen. Dillon still out front. Skeen running second. Elliott is third.
How about this battle for the 4 spot? Ross Chastain, the 19, and Chad Hockenbraugh.
Look at Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott side by side now with Mike Skeen.
Drag race up the Andretti straightaway. Chase Elliott in the 94 has the advantage over the 6 of Mike Skeen. Elliott's going to take that spot away as they go into turn 8.
Power move for Chase Elliott now. Let's see what he can do and try to chase down that 3 truck of Ty Dillon. We know Chase Elliott pitted on lap number 40. He should have easily enough fuel to get to the end. We're not too sure about Ty Dillon. Marcus Richmond thinks they do.
And Mike Skeen on that same pit strategy came in on lap 33.
I don't think right now that Chase Elliott has to worry about Mike Skeen anymore. He's been able to get by him. He's opened up about 3 truck lengths.
And Skeen's loose. We see him sliding around. We haven't seen that all day out of the 6 truck.
Ty Dillon pitted on lap 33. Only 14 laps to go. Can he get to victory lane in the first road course race in Canada for the Camping World Truck Series? Welcome back. Ty Dillon going through turn number 2. Out in front, has a 2-second lead. Chase Elliott, but Elliott has been one of the fastest trucks on the track. He's being chased by Mike Skeen. Those are your top 3.
Look at these battling guys behind him.
Little contact made there between the 31 of Buescher and the 14 of Max Pappas.
Check out that pack. 6 trucks, and they've been side by side, mixing it up. They can taste the lead up there. They can see the leaders, but just can't quite get there.
And that's from 4th on back. Ross Chastain, the 19, has a 4th spot, and an incredible run by Chad Hockenbraugh. Only 2 ARCA Racing Series events in his history on road courses. Hermie, he's doing an awesome job.
He really is. You know, Phil, even qualified in the 8th position, been running between 5th and 6th pretty much all day. Gives great feedback on the radio. They've been relatively under the radar. Not a lot of changes to their truck, but just been rock solid since the drop of the green flag. And like you say, a little bit of road racing experience, but not a lot of truck racing experience, especially on a road course. So big shout out to the 51 Chad Hockenbraugh and this 51 team for a solid run. 12 laps to go. They're looking for more.
Apples and watermelons battling it out here. Hockenbraugh, apples in their family, and you've got watermelons and the 19 of Ross Chastain's family.
Max Pappas on the inside of Buescher. Buescher made a run at Ryan Blaney. It didn't work, and that opened up the inside for Max Pappas. He's going to bring Bubba Wallace with him.
Bubba Wallace, that's Darrell Wallace Jr. in the 54. Following behind that 14 of Max Pappas. Those 2 have moved up. It's 7th and 8th for those 2. Now 7th and 8th for Pappas and Wallace Jr.
And guys, the clock is ticking too. Look at this move that Hockenbraugh just dives in on the inside of Chastain to grab that spot. That opens the door for Chastain's teammate Ryan Blaney. But as these laps wind down, you'll see more and more of that. Guys taking chances, trying to get positions, and that usually results in contacts and cautions.
Closing in on the final 10 laps. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
It's just too tempting to be going that slow and not run into somebody, I think.
At 45 miles an hour, sure it's not going to hurt him.
Buscher was looking to the inside of Darrell Wallace Jr., not able to make the pass.
I'll just give him a little bump.
How about the tail end of that pack right there? That's Matt Crafton. Matt being shown right now in the 14th position. Going to take a bit of a hit in the points here if he finishes outside the top 10.
He has not finished outside the top 10 since the start of the season. Has a 13 race consecutive streak going. He would move into second if he was able to finish this race in the top 10 at 14 straight behind Ron Hornaday, who has gone 18 races from the start of the season.
See, Paluto made contact with Ron Hornaday right there. That opened up the door for Coroga in the 77. Business is picking up here now.
It's gonna happen more and more as we close in on the checker.
10 to go. The 88 of Matt Crafton back in the 14th spot. Leading the points coming in. All top 10 finishes to start the season. And now outside looking in. Trying to come up on the back bumper of that 9 of Ron Hornaday.
Remember, guys, right now, 4 of our top 6 pitted last on lap 33 or 34 in Ryan Blaney's case. We still have the issue of, are these guys going to have enough fuel to get to the end?
21 laps since they were on pit road for Ty Dillon and the 6 of Mike Skeen. Dillon out in front, your race leader. Chase Elliott came on lap 40, so he's been out there for 14 laps, where we've talked about the pit window between 22 and 27. Does Ty Dillon have enough fuel? That will be the question. Can he hang on for the final 10 and 9 laps here in Canada? Stay with us. The 4th all-course caution has come out. And this time, once again, the 98 of Johnny Sauter. So a full course caution comes out for Sauter. He stopped on that long Andretti straightaway.
Yeah, it's been about the 3rd time for Johnny. He was able to get it refired there a couple times to prevent the full course yellow from coming out, but unfortunately it was after they had put the caution out, and then Johnny was able to get it refired.
And we just saw the 62 on pit road. What was going on, Ray?
Well, they've been in twice to put tires on, but this last time they came down, they noticed that there was a broken sway bar mount, so they had to run down to the garage to get parts and pieces. Brendan Gaughan really just pretty much limping around on the racetrack right now. Not going to have a good finish for the South Point Chevrolet.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they've affected any repairs to it. You can really see the thing leaning over, Phil, in the corners. Watch this thing roll over.
See it sparking over there on the left side. They probably have gone to get those parts and send them back on the racetracks. They make a couple laps till we get ready to make some changes.
Brendan's on to say, you make a couple of laps. Thing's a handful. Pretty cool shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing where these guys do their workout on a Sunday afternoon.
So he'll be back on the pit road. Out in front, though, Ty Dillon. Now, with this caution.
His crew chief, Marcus Richmond's really confident they can make it now.
Breathes a little easier, thinking that they can make it on fuel.
But remember, guys, we're on a road course. The turns go left and right, so the fuel is sloshing around. Even if you've got enough gas, you remember at Bristol a couple weeks ago, guys were running out of gas because of those bank turns, the fuel getting away from the pickup. Here, the fuel back and forth, you could, even if you've got gas, you might have a hiccup, a burp, and we've seen, as competitive as this thing is, a hiccup or a burp can take you from 1st to 10th.
Well, and Marcus Ambrose at Sonoma a couple years back, leading that race, looked as though he was going to be dominant, trying to save fuel, shutting the car off, actually ended up not being able to fire it when he wanted to and lost that race because of that situation.
And that's what these teams are faced with. These drivers know how tense this is going to be getting to the end, how close they are on fuel. They're saving gas right now. Got to make sure you get the thing started at back up. Don't turn it off and try to coast uphill. We've seen that. We saw that not work out in California.
Lance McGrew, crew chief for Chase Elliott. Elliott running in the 2nd spot. We know he's good on fuel.
Yeah, and we also know that Mike Skeen and Chase Elliott, as we wound down the laps, had began to close on our leader, Ty Dillon. They were running faster lap times, lap after lap than Dillon. So that means we're going to bunch these boys together, and there's no telling what we're going to see.
Now, Skeen is going to be starting in the 3rd spot, so he'll be able to pick the inside, or he'll be inside going into turn number 1, so on the right side of that turn, or of the second row, which is an advantageous area for him to be.
But we saw him on the earlier restart on the outside of the front row. He got a terrible start. He didn't get on and off of pit road that well either. So his inexperience in NASCAR type racing and in the truck specifically could cause him some trouble in this restart, and he could lose more than he might gain.
Well, let's see what happens here when they get to pit road. We know that Ty Dillon's going to stay on pit road. We think all the guys running up front are going to stay on pit road. It's pretty much of a non-issue.
Love it. Love the intensity, the drama.
It's got a huge break here for Miguel Paludo. Remember, he came in on pit road late. He pitted back on lap number 46. Right. He's made his way back up inside the top 10 right now. And then we're going to this double file restart, guys. Anything can happen on that.
Anything will happen. Not only can. Here comes a truck to pit road. Is that Chastain?
Is that Blaney or Chastain?
I believe Blaney is up ahead.
Chastain.
That's Ross Chastain.
Chastain has made his way onto pit road. It looks as though a few other takers.
Ron Hornaday.
Point leader, our point leader to pit road.
As well as John West Townley. And so our point leader heading your way, Hermie.
Yeah, a little bit surprised that the 88 was coming back down to pit road, but these guys feel like they got some scuff they took off earlier in the race today that are better than what's on the truck. They were not quite happy with the grip level that he had in the truck on this set of tires. So come in, put a cool set of tires on, top it off with fuel, and hopefully pick up a few extra spots to keep this strong season going for the 88 team.
Thanks, Hermie. So a few guys taking advantage of this caution as far as topping off with fuel, maybe fresh tires. On the lead lap, we have 17.
See, Mike Skeen has done such an outstanding job right now running in the third spot. Let's see if we can make contact with Mike. Hey, Mike Skeen, this is Phil Parsons up in the Fox Sports 1 booth. You have a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike, you've done an outstanding job here in your first ever Camping World Truck Series race. You got a plan here for this restart?
He's thinking of it, Phil.
he's putting it together right now.
I know you have to concentrate getting ready for this restart, Mike, but what would it mean to you to win in your first ever start here in NASCAR? Yeah, they're a long way away from here right here.
Well, the other thing, remember, at the beginning of this race, he wasn't able to talk to his crew. He was able to hear, but not talk to them. So they might still be incurring radio issues.
Yeah, let's let him concentrate now on this, maybe the most important restart in his young life.
Of his career. They're going to go 2x2 once again. Ty Dillon choose the inside line. That will put Mike Skeen just behind him in row number 2. Chase Elliott will be on the outside of row 1 and Chad Hockenbraugh outside of row 2.
Well, we're going to come down here with 5 laps to go as they take the green for this restart here. Whoever gets the battle down to turn number 1 may be the winning move.
You know, this happens to me every race we do. I just get as nervous as I've ever been. I mean, I want to see these guys have a chance to win a race so bad. You got a young man like Mike Skeen, who's trying to win his first ever NASCAR race in his first start. Chase Elliott, his dad's a legend. He's proven that he can get it done behind the wheel. He's trying to pull off the win. Ty Dillon, another win for that team, could pole vault him toward the championship. There's so many different stories. Look at Chad Hockenbraugh up in the top 5 racing for a win here. This is good stuff.
You've got Max Pappas back there in the 14. Road course ringer. As the field makes their way through turn 9. Pace truck once again off the track. Field in the hands of Ty Dillon. Chase Elliott on his outside as they come out of turn number 10. 5 laps of racing to go. Who will end up in victory lane? Green flag back in the air. Chase Elliott, a great restart.
They're dead even, get down to turn number 1. Chase stays there side by side with him, now tucks it behind him.
Like Mike Skeen got a good start that time. Chad Hockenbraugh in the 51 truck slides high, and Max Pappas in that 14 tries to look underneath Hockenbraugh.
Max Pappas trying to take the spot away from Blaney in the 29.
Remember, there's some guys back there, guys, with fresher tires.
Miguel Paludo, or Mount Caroga, you see him on right there, the black and yellow, number 77, right behind the 54, Bubba Wallace.
We talked about the chance to bump into someone. You get yourself in a truck with better tires, you're going to be all over those other racers.
Through 4 and into 5. Now they'll race uphill in the Andretti straightaway. Bumping and banging going on through 5. They stay straight.
Look at Matt
Shuffled out,
Crafton.
Matt
Got
Crafton.
shuffled out to the outside.
Racing with the 84, Martin Waugh right now.
Wow, I like how you say that, Phil.
Up the hill they go. Ty Dillon. Just a half a truck length lead over Chase Elliott as they go through turn 8. Elliott has been so good coming through 10 and setting himself up for the pass going into 1.
Max Pappas to the inside of Chad Hockenbrough to take over the 4th spot.
What a great move by Pappas. He set him up and grabbed that spot away. Can he chase down Mike Skeen for that 3rd spot? Pappas has the experience to do so. Does he have the time?
Darrell Wallace Jr. in the 54 on the outside. Ron Hornaday in the 9, holding on to that 9th spot. Under 4 laps to go. There's the gap between 1st and 2nd. Ty Dillon has about 2 truck lengths over the 94 of Chase Elliott.
And right now, Marcus Richmond crossing his fingers to hope that that 3 truck has enough fuel to get to the end.
We saw him down there burning up the calculators and going over every piece of information he could grab to decide that strategy, and he believes they can make it to the finish. But remember, these pickup trucks, they don't have fuel injections like the Cup cars. They got carburetors on top of the engines, and those things sometimes don't get all the fuel.
Around goes Aron Quiroga.
Let's see if
turn 5.
If he can get it refired, that may not necessitate a caution flag. We stay green.
He has been able to keep it going. He's trying to get it going the right direction now.
And you talked about it, Michael. They got down to 45 miles an hour. It's just too tempting for someone to push people out of the way.
Yeah, and he was running in the 11th spot, battling for a position in the top 10, and wound up sideways instead and backwards. Look at Max Pappas gain on Mike Skeen.
And now 3 to go when they cross the stripe. Dillon out in front of Chase Elliott, Mike Skeen, and here comes Max Pappas.
A young driver in that 6 truck, but very experienced on the road course. It gets a little bit loose. Max is all over the back of him.
Pappas trying to take advantage of that bobble by the 6.
A lot of patience there by Max.
Skeen trying to keep it pointed the right direction.
Looking for that fresh asphalt. See him drive up high, Rick, to try to get on that fresh pavement. Hopefully not loose. You can see Pappas spinning his tires off the turn. These guys are going for it.
Turn 3 into turn 4. Now they'll set up for that very critical turn 5. A lot of distance between Mike Skeen and Max Pappas as they enter 5. And now Pappas, a great turn 5. Skeen got a little high. How will that take advantage of this uphill down Andretti straightaway?
Max Pappas definitely gained ground on Skeen. Looks like a little bit of momentum coming here. Will he look to the inside at the end of Andretti?
See if he gets a little bit of a toe here down this back straightaway. He's looking to the inside, guys.
Is he going to cross over and go to the inside? He stays to the outside of Skeen. All the way through turn number 8. Now he goes up and catches the bumper of that 6. Right on the back bumper. Skeen gets moved out of the way. Here comes Pappas in turn 10.
Mike's still right there on the inside. Look at the crossover for Max. He's going to get a good run down the straightaway. He's going to beat him down to turn 1.
Into turn number 1. Pappas has the preferred line. Skeen trying to hang on to the position. That's a battle for 3rd. Pappas is going to take it away from Skeen.
Nice job by Max.
Under 2 laps of racing to go. Ty Dillon now with just a 2 truck length lead over Chase Elliott.
There's no way Ty can save any fuel right now. The only saving he could do was under the caution flag. He has to use every bit of that to keep that 94 truck of Chase Elliott out of gas.
Out of gas for the 3. Ty Dillon saying out of gas. Mike Skeen on the same pit strategy. Here goes Chase Elliott. Trying to get up the hill will be Ty Dillon.
Slow corners when that fuel gets away from the pickup, especially in the left-hand corners. That's where he's most vulnerable. The pickup's over in that left rear corner.
And his crew chief just said, stay out, stay out, stay out. They only have 1 lap to go, just over 2.5 miles. He's going to see if he can stretch it.
We talked about strategy. Well, that's all out the window. It's just going for it now.
He's really going to be vulnerable to the left-handers. Here comes Chase Elliott. He's got a good run going.
White flag is out. One more time around. Chase Elliott looking to the inside.
We heard Ray Dunlap talk at the start of the show about last lap pass on road courses. We could see one here. Ty Dillon drives away, though, as they head toward 3.
That's that left-hander. That's where he would run out of fuel if he was going to run out.
And now as they go into turn number 3, that right-hander, he still has the advantage over Chase Elliott. Wiggling that truck. Could be a little loose, could be looking for fuel. Continues to wiggle the truck as they go into turn 4.
Another left-hander right here, turn 4.
Ty Dillon is at the furthest point away from the start-finish line right now. Can he hang on and stay in front of Chase Elliott? Up the long Andretti straight away they go.
Chase has a run on him.
Here comes Elliott looking to the inside. Side by side for the lead. Elliott has the advantage, but they're door to door as they go up looking into turn number 8.
Elliott can slide up. Or excuse me,
Dillon
can
still
slide
has
up.
the inside line. He stays in front of the 94. Chase Elliott right on his back bumper. Through turn number 9, they go. Ty Dillon with the advantage. Elliott right on his back bumper, looking to the inside at 10. They make contact. Elliott spins the 3 into the tires, and Chase Elliott trying to hang on. Across the stripe he'll go. Elliott wins in Canada.
Mike Skeen has spun around. Max Pappas around. Ryan Blaney as well.
Coming through turn 10. Hockenbraugh unofficially second. Paluto is third.
Good job, Buzz. Good job.
What an incredible finish. Chase Elliott will grab his first career win in just his 6 starts. And he got into the back of that 3 of Ty Dillon in turn 10.
Nonetheless, what an outstanding run for Chase Elliott. Not sure what happened there. We know what happened on that last corner, last lap. He got to the inside of Ty, made contact.
Look like there's some angry racers here on this last lap. I know Ty Dillon can't be too happy with leading the race and getting spun around.
And there were 2 more wrecks after that initial wreck between. There's 2 guys right now, Mike Skeen and Max Pappas. They were racing for the 3rd spot, which turned into the 2nd spot. They're not happy with each other.
Incredibly torn up trucks. Look at the right side of that 6 for Mike Skeen.
Yeah,
and the right side of the 14.
They had switched positions, Phil. We saw Skeen behind Pappas the last time we saw the trucks. When they got to the 10th turn, Pappas was ahead of, or excuse me, Skeen was ahead of Pappas, and Pappas hit him.
Crew's not happy. You see Ty Dillon in the 3, making his way back onto pit road. His crew trying to talk to the 94 crew.
They're not trying to talk, I don't.
I think there's going to be words. Mike Skeen in the 6 ends up 13th unofficially.
There's Caroga and James Busher.
Not happy.
I think Caroga wants to get out and talk to Busher, as you called it, Rick. Talk.
Chase Elliott working his way around the track. And Elliott has made his way all the way around the track and back onto the front stretch.
He's been so close this year. His worst finish in all his truck starts has been 6th. A bunch of top 5 finishes. Had a fast truck the entire weekend, Ray.
Yeah, guys, and I'm with Lance McGrew, the crew chief for Chase Elliott. You won your first truck race with Ricky Hendrick, and you got another great driver behind the wheel here. What did he say on the radio after that one was over?
Oh, he was just excited that he actually made it to the checkered flag. But I mean, I hate to win races like that. I just do. I'm happy for him. He was fast enough to win. He just definitely deserved to win. The truck was great all weekend. He did a great job. He's a hell of a race car driver. He just is, and he's coming a long way. We're excited to be part of his career, but I still hate to win like that.
That's Lance McGrew. Chase Elliott gets his first win in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
Ram guts and glory. What an amazing finish. And take another look. Ty Dillon's not going to give him that line.
No, Chase was hard on the throttle. Drove it in hard into turn number 10. He got about halfway up on that truck. He does a great job maintaining control there as you see Ty get into the tire barrier.
Watch 3rd and 4th come spinning in here into the fence.
Skeen in the 6 slams into the fence.
Like I said, those 2 had changed spots. Skeen was leading Pappas when they got to the last turn, and Pappas hit him.
Elliott ultimately able to see the checkered flag for the first time in his career.
What about that Kyle Busch Motorsports truck of Hockenbracht getting that 2nd place finish?
Teams definitely not happy is the way that one finished, but the 94 team will be in victory lane when we come back. Welcome back to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, although some people might think it's a UFC fight after you see what some of the tempers have taken place since they've been able to get out of their trucks. Take a look at this situation.
James Busher gave Ron Hornaday a little shove, and that's just starting everything, guys.
There's Armand Carroga also going to get by. Watch Hornaday jump, make it 3 wide here, gets into Carroga, turns him around, much like Chase Elliott turned Ty Dillon around.
We talked about you slow down to 45 miles an hour, somebody's going to get mad. And look how mad Armand is. He tried to go after those guys.
Armand Carroga not happy.
Yeah,
We've got quite a few that aren't happy. Mike Skeen and Max Pappas definitely not happy.
They've had a couple laps to ride around along with each other, talk to each other to show their displeasure.
So they tried to talk with helmets on. Then once the helmets came off, we'll take one other look at how the win happened. That was the 94 of Elliott getting into the 3. So Ty Dillon ends up the last on the lead lap, and he was able to stick his head inside the 94 to talk with Chase Elliott. And now let's hear from Ty Dillon with Hermie.
Ty Dillon leading, coming into turn 10 in the last lap, contact with you and Chase Elliott. Your thoughts?
I knew it was going to be a tough race then. We were out of gas. It sputtered down there in 5A and B, and I was doing all I could to hold him off. And we were playing through 8, and then he just gave up on trying to race and dumped me. And he ran through the field, wrecked 3 or 4 people. I mean, it just doesn't have any respect. He come in, I mean, it was going to be an awesome point save for us. And I was racing hard. But, man, you don't just go through the grass and wreck somebody. It's killed our truck, killed our day. It's just disappointing, man. You got to be smarter than that when you come in these races. You got to earn respect. So next time, I hope he runs Iowa. He won't finish the race.
That's Ty Dillon. Ray?
Here comes Chase Elliott. He's going to jump out of this Aaron's Dream machine in his 6th career start in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. He's been in the top 10 in every race. Today he's in victory lane with a crumpled up left front fender. Chase, congratulations. It's been an awesome year for you. You got your first ARCA Series win earlier this season and a big one today, but tell me about that last corner.
Well, we only had so many shots to win these things, and I really hate to win them like that. I really do. That's not how I race, and it's never been how I've raced before. But I had a shot. I was up next to Ty. I knew he was going to try to chop me off, and I tried to make up the difference. Like I said, I don't like to win like that, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Try to get a victory lane, and just can't thank everybody enough. Aaron's, HinderCars.com, everybody that supports me, Mom and Dad, God. It's everybody that's a part of my program, and just really looking forward to things to come.
What's coming up? You said things to come. What will that be for Chase Elliott? We know that Aaron's, the sponsorship, will not return to your program for next year.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, we're not going to have Aaron's next year, but I'm very proud to have him on board this year. What we do have to come is we have 3 or 4 more truck races left and ARCA race at Kentucky. So we need to make the most of that, and hopefully we can get to victory lane a couple more times next year. It'll figure itself out.
All right, that's Chase Elliott in victory lane right here in the first time ever north of the border for the Camping World Trucks. Hermie?
Well, Max Pappas, not only was action up front, but you guys are racing top 5 as well. Contact on the last lap. What happened from your perspective?
I mean, the Sport Clip Chevy, was doing great. Thanks to everyone, Sport Clip, Chevrolet, KMC. We had a really good truck. We had a very good strategy. Running the top 5 when we had to do, and the 6 car, I knew was going to do something, not really sportsmanship, because that's what he did before. He was trying to bump me around in the wrong corner, and he came in the last corner and just drilled us. And not only he put me in the grass, he put me against the tie. It was just a amateur move, and I got really upset with him. Didn't even have the courage of telling me what he had to do. So, I don't have time for guys like that. But overall, it was a great event. Really proud to be here at Motorsport. Awesome show, and if you didn't like this, come back again.
Back to the booth. That's Max Pappas.
Well, he has a smile on his face even after what happened in the last turn.
And most of the competitors are mad, but all the fans are happy. I mean, what an incredible weekend we've had in Canada.
And what a bullet Matt Crafton dodged here. He ended up with a top 10 finish here. He comes out with a 47-point lead. I think he was able to get by this one, again, just like he did Eldora.
14 straight top 10s, and we've seen that before. Max Pappas has actually slapped another driver, but with a helmet on. We haven't seen it before like that.
We saw a little bit of everything.
We just saw it there. So
that young man is a good kid, hard racer. I think it's an unfortunate way to win your first race.
He had the inside line, but he really didn't have it enough to where Ty wasn't going to give it up.
It's called the bonsai move there to the inside. There, you know Ty's coming back that way. So
there's a turn there.
Yeah. I know he hated to win that way, and I hated to see him win it that way.
Chase Elliott in victory lane for the first time ever for the Camping World Truck Series in Canada.